So my name is Margaret Komen. I'm CEO and founder of Mace Foods Limited. Mace Foods Limited is a food processing company. We are based in Eldoret, that is where the factory is. We have an office in Nairobi for sales, and we have several stations in East Africa for collection of raw materials. We are basically specialized in main products and byproducts of chilies as an ingredient for industry, and also as a final product for food and restaurant. We also have another line for African leafy vegetables. I think we are the pioneers of dried African leafy vegetables, pre-cooked for export and domestic market. So we are also selling in the US, we are selling in Europe, and also in Kenya, in all the major supermarkets. I'm a food technologist by profession. I trained in Technical University here in Kenya and also Karlsruhe University in Germany. And interestingly, while I was doing my internship in Germany, I actually landed in 2 spice factories. And while I was working in these spice factories as an intern, just before I came back home, what really amazed me was that all the raw materials they were using for the spices they were preparing were imported into Germany. It means they were not producing anything. Everything came from all over the world. And that's the time the idea of export came into my mind. But at that time, I hadn't thought of a business. It just fascinated me that one part of the world would depend on another part for supplies. So the whole idea of export came into my mind. I said, is there something I can do and export? I got a lot of links and contacts, and I interacted with very many people who wanted so many products from Kenya. But what attracted me to the contacts that I had was suddenly there was like, out of say 100 contacts, about more than 50% were looking for chilies. And I was amazed. I was like, why chilies? Then I discovered in 2003 there had been a ban on chilies from India, so there was a shortage in Europe. There was the opportunity. So I came back home and I just didn't know how to start. I didn't know how I was going to put it together until it became a business. But I knew what the market wanted. Actually, I came back with 1 trial order. And I came and I milled it in my blender. And I sent him, you know the way you mill and put in a polythene bag and seal with a candle? I sent it to Frankfurt. And the customer said, wow, the quality is really nice. Send me a full container. I was like, what? He said, yes, send me a full container. As in, he gave me an order of 14,000 kilos of chili powder. That was the beginning of Mace Foods. But I didn't know where I was going to get the chili. I didn't even know that to export, I thought I could export with my personal name. I didn't know that you needed to register a company. But I went through that process. I registered the company, and then it suddenly dawned on me that I didn't have chilies to export. So I realized I needed farmers. So I started now going to the ministry. They introduced me to a few farmers who were this sides of Nandi who had done some chilies. I also remembered when I was growing up, we used to see chilies drying on the side of the road when you're going towards Malaba. And I said, let me just go there and find out. And I went there and I met a gentleman called Jakait. We still work with Jakait up to today, 20 years later. And Jakait told me, yeah, you want chilies? Here they are. So, but he showed me chilies in a store. They were in a very poor, bad quality. But that's how they were selling it to the local market. So I started thinking, how am I going to improve the quality? Because nobody in Europe is going to buy rotten fruits. So that is how Mace Foods started. And slowly, we started selling the product. Of course, I wasn't able to send the container. I only sent 1 pallet. But at least I did something after almost 6 months. It was very difficult then to start a business. I was a young girl. I didn't even have children. You know, when I was doing this, it's difficult because it's not only difficult to balance a family life and business, it was difficult also from the environment. From the environment, they was not very accepting. I remember one time we went for an event at home, and you know, I was called by the aunties to be told, why did you quit? What are those things you're doing in town? You know, nobody believed that you could start a business and just run it on your own. You must be a multi-millionaire. There must be a big mogul behind you. It's not true. I mean, I think it takes passion. If you have a passion for what you do and you like what you do, you'll succeed. trainings, there was never an aha moment, you know. It was just a training, you've learned something and you move on, you know. And through Kenya Catalytic Fund, I got to learn about Sinapis. There was something different about Sinapis, and I didn't know when I enrolled. You know, they have the course content and then they have the Kingdom Business Framework. So it was the first time that I was attending a course that was bringing God into business. It was the first time. For me, I've always looked at it as separate things. I mean, you do your business during the week and on Sunday you go to church. So for me, I looked at it from that perspective, and I never realized that it's possible to have the two running concurrently. And in any case, it is supposed to be that way, because you can't, you know, for the first time I questioned myself, how come I've survived for 20 years? It can only be God, isn't it, that has seen me through all this. People ask me, how did you manage this? And I normally tell, you know, I look back and I realize I didn't have any magic power. I didn't have any special thing. There must have been a higher being that was taking me through the whole program. So Sinapis gave me that aha moment. It dawned on me why I was never succeeding. It's because I never invested in people. Because I had the business skill, I knew what I was doing, I knew what I wanted, I knew the market, I knew the product, so I thought I could do it alone. Sinapis taught me that there is no way you can do it without people. And if you don't invest in your people, it's just doom at the end. You have to invest in your people, and you have to start seeing your people from a different perspective, because they are human. And for me, I realized for many years, I just looked at them like the employee who comes in the morning, does their work and goes. But this employee is a human being. This employee feels the same things you feel, goes through the same problems that you go through. So I had to deliberately switch my whole thinking process. Imagine running a business for 19 years and then on the 20th year you have to change everything in your mind. That's what Synapse did to me. Basically changed me as a person from the way I handle my business, the way I view challenges. You know, I used to be quite angry in life because I used to think, you know, my daughter sometimes tells me I have OCD because I want things to work. I stopped pushing things to work because things work if you make them work, and if you work as a team, and if you bring God to tell him, please let it go through. So I stopped worrying about problems. In fact, some of my team members sometimes look at me and tell me, hey, you're not annoyed? You know, they would come and tell me something. You're not annoyed? I'm like, no, I'm already thinking about how to solve it. You know, it doesn't make sense to be annoyed about anything. It's better to take that energy and put it into the solution instead of putting it in concentrating on why, who, because, you know, that is all past tense. It's already happened. So the best thing is just to look through it and say, okay, that's a lesson for me. It will not happen again. Okay, how do I get out of this problem? Kingdom business for me, I'd heard about it, but I didn't know. I thought it's businesses run by priests or pastors. I mean, I'm sorry, but the ignorance is really a crazy thing. But then I understood it so well in the sense that you can just be sitting on your desk and having your conversation with God and asking him to guide you. It's not necessary to wear a white cloth and jump all over the streets for people to know that now you're the closest to God. Speaking to God is an every time, everything. You know, you should do it like it should be part and parcel of your life. I'm still going through a coaching program. Tomorrow we're starting the Ascent program with my team. The journey forward it's a journey that's going to be very interesting. I keep on telling my team members that I'm looking forward to starting this new training, because I pray that they feel the way I felt when I started the training. So that is in a nutshell what Synapse has done for me.